6% commission gone. NAR Settlement will slash commissions and house prices. Really?
To save some money buying or selling a house. A lawsuit settlement by the National Association of Realtors is getting rid of the standard 6% commission for realtors.
What's that mean? Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez explains.
A real estate lawsuit settlement sends shockwaves through the real estate world, and decades-long policies that help set agent commissions. Under the terms of the settlement, the National Association of Realtors not only agreed to pay $418 million, but also agreed to eliminate the 6% realtor commissions.
Y'all, I can't even with this. It is such a load of... You fill in the blank. Hi, I'm Lydia Rowe, a realtor here in the Dayton, Ohio area, and on this channel I like to talk about all things living in the Miami Valley. Today we're tackling some widespread misconceptions floating around about the recent settlement involving the National Association of Realtors and how that impacts home buyers, sellers, and agents, especially right here in Ohio. If you're a buyer, you might be thinking, how in the world am I going to afford a house now if I have to pay my agent's commission on top of closing costs and down payment? If you're a seller, you might be thinking you're going to save some money. The way the media is spinning this is just so misleading. I had to jump on here and clarify a few things for my subscribers, clients, and fellow agents. So let's set the record straight and dive into what this really means for you. First up, let's address some headlines that have been causing quite a stir. You might have seen reports from major news outlets suggesting dramatic changes to real estate commissions and practices. There are so many to choose from. I just took 4 and let's talk about those. On CNN.com, it said this 6% commission on buying or selling a home is gone after Realtors Association agrees to seismic settlement. Contrary to the implication by CNN that a fixed 6% commission rate is a standard enforced by the National Association of Realtors, or NAR, and that it's been abolished by recent settlement, the truth is quite different. NAR has repeatedly stated, and it's important to understand, that it never set commission rates. Commissions are and always have been negotiable. The recent settlement does not change this fundamental aspect of real estate transactions. It reinforces the principle that commission rates are determined through negotiation between a client and their real estate professional, not mandated by any association or MLS policy. I want to repeat that this has been the case for decades. The idea that NAR set agent commission rates is just not true at all. There is no standard commission rate. Now, a particular brokerage, or certainly each agent, can set their own standard commission rates, but this is not dictated by any association, and it hasn't been for as long as I've been aware. Next, on the New York Times website, powerful realtor group agrees to slash commissions to settle lawsuits. The New York Times headline suggests a mandated reduction in commission rates as part of the settlement, which is very misleading. The settlement reached by NAR involves no such agreement to slash commissions across the board, because again, they never had anything to do with setting commissions in the first place. The core of the settlement focuses on ensuring transparency and fairness in how commissions are communicated and negotiated, not on setting or reducing commission rates. This emphasis is on choice and negotiation between parties involved in a real estate transaction, maintaining the flexibility of commission arrangements that has always been part of the industry's practices. Next, on ABC's News.com, real estate lawsuit settlement upends decades-long policies that helped set agent commissions. ABC News headline suggests that the settlement disrupts long-standing policies that dictated commission rates, implying a drastic overhaul of how commissions are set. However, the reality is, as I've stated before, that the policies in question were designed to ensure that commissions were a matter of negotiation between brokers and their clients. The settlement does not upend this approach, but rather it affirms the principle of negotiation and choice in determining commissions. It addresses misconceptions about NAR's role and policies regarding commission rates, clarifying that no fixed or standard commission rates were ever mandated. I'm just so blown away by these headlines. I mean, have these companies even done any research at all? The last one I'll pull out was on Fox News. It said, NAR $418 million legal commission settlement could save a few thousands on your next home. Oh, this one's quite the kicker. Fox's headline implies that the settlement will directly result in significant savings for home buyers through reduced commission fees. While the settlement indeed involves a substantial financial aspect, its focus is on enhancing transparency and the negotiability of commissions rather than dictating specific savings or commission rates. And in fact, because of agreeing to no longer post buyer agent compensation on the MLS, this could actually have the complete opposite effect on home buyers and make the cost of buying a house significantly more, not less. Which leads me to the next segment of this video. What is the impact on home buyers, sellers, and agents? First, let's talk about what the settlement actually involves and its impact, particularly on how things are going to change here in Ohio. One significant change is that buyers in Ohio will need to sign a buyer agency agreement before touring houses if they wish to be represented by a realtor. Many areas and regions have been doing this for years, but it's new to the Dayton area of Ohio. What this agreement does is it formalizes the relationship and ensures buyers understand exactly what services they're receiving and how their agents will be compensated. The truth is, buyers have always been paid by their agents. It's just built into the home price sale. They either bring cash or they get a loan to cover the sale price of the home, and out of that sale price, commissions for both the seller's listing agent and the buyer's agent are paid. Agents don't get paid until the transaction closes. So buyer's agents especially are taking a significant risk in investing hours of time, energy, gas money in order to secure a contract on the house that their buyer client wants. Side note here, I can't tell you how many buyer clients I've talked to who have missed out on the houses that they wanted because either they didn't have an agent or they had an unresponsive one. Especially in the seller's market that we've been in for a while, you need to be ready to see a house and make an offer as soon as it's listed. If you wait even 24 hours, sometimes you miss out. A buyer's agent isn't just your ticket into the door. They research the property and the area. They ask great questions. They help you know what to look for. And since they've toured hundreds of homes, they have expert insights and advice on how that listing compares to others on the market and how to structure an offer. They have experience in writing offers, and they have tips and tricks up their sleeve for multiple offer situation. What's crazy is that up until now, they do all of this without any sort of contract with their buying clients. I've heard of multiple agents who have spent a significant amount of time and money on a buying client, and then that buyer calls Zillow for a tour and makes an offer with another agent. Or they find a for sale by owner or an auction house, neither of which offer any buyer agent compensation, and they decide to represent themselves, and that agent who's been working their butts off for months doesn't get paid a dime for all that time. So what this settlement does is it takes that option off the table. Any member of NAR, otherwise called realtors, will not be allowed to show you any houses unless you sign a buyer agency agreement with them. This is similar to a listing agreement with the seller, where you're formalizing your relationship as a client and that you will pay them a certain amount when you close on the sale of your home. The agreement will usually state that the agent will do their best to negotiate that this will be paid from the profits of the sale, as it has been for decades. But in cases like for sale by owner or auctions, or when the seller refuses to pay the fees out of the sale price, then the fee will be added to the buyer's settlement costs. This enables the buyer's agent to pour in their time and resources without reserve, knowing that they are going to get paid when the buyer finds that right house. It establishes that client relationship, which ensures fiduciary responsibilities such as confidentiality, loyalty, obedience, that they're working for your best interests even over their own. I'm a big proponent of this part of the settlement. I don't know how it's going to work with things like open houses or Zillow tours, but I'm all for transparency and clarity and establishing clear expectations. Buyers have been hesitant to sign these in our area because most agents didn't require them, and they liked the flexibility of being able to float about from agent to agent, but that's going to change this summer. Now, the second major change that this settlement is that we will no longer be able to put on the MLS, which is the multiple listing service that all agents look at and that feeds Zillow and Realtor.com, that we won't be able to advertise on that MLS the amount of compensation that the listing broker's offering to compensate buyer agents. This one is troublesome. I think the idea was to take it off the MLS so that buyer's agents wouldn't avoid showing their clients homes that didn't offer compensation, but I think this one is going to backfire. See, with the mandating buyer agency agreements, buyers will have a heightened awareness of how their agent is being paid, and that if the seller doesn't offer the full amount they agreed to, that they're going to be responsible for making up the difference. So I think buyers are going to more and more want to know upfront, even before going to see a house, whether that seller has built in the cost of buyer's agent help into the sales price, as has been the custom for decades, or whether they're trying to save a pretty penny by only building into the price their own agent's compensation. What's silly about this whole thing is that it really is semantics. And I talk about that more in this other video that you can watch here. I made this one before the settlement was even in. It was the beginning of the class action suit, and I was just projecting some things, but there's a lot of good stuff in there that applies now too. Because the buyer agent commission was showing up on the seller's closing statement as a debit, sellers started to feel ripped off, and like they were paying the buyer's agent agent who's effectively negotiating against them. When in reality, sales prices have buffered in commissions, so it's the same concept of like a for sale by owner seller who sell for sale by owner and they think they can save money by doing it themselves, and they often price their house the same as they would if they had an agent. But statistically, that rate gets negotiated down because buyers know that they aren't paying an agent, and also because often the buyer has an agent who knows how to negotiate. So if a seller is opposed to their listing agent sharing their commission with a buyer's agent, or if some listing agents advertise to sellers and they try to secure listings by saying that they'll list for only 3%, for example, and the way they're able to do that is that they don't offer anything to buyer's agents, you can bet both buyers and buyer's agents alike will want to negotiate the price to compensate for that, since other listings have that cost built in. Does that make sense? And sellers, believe me, there's going to be agents trying to sell you on this. There's going to be agents who are offering steeply discounted commissions to secure your listing, and they'll likely use comps to price your home that all have buyer's agent compensation already included, but they won't tell you that. They know exactly the price that will likely need to come down, but they won't tell you that because they want you to sign with them. This is a huge red flag. Any experienced agent knows the value a buyer's agent brings. As the industry tries to figure this all out, my prediction is that one of the fallouts of buyers choosing to not be represented by an agent is going to be more transactions falling through. A good buyer's agent helps for a smooth transaction. Are they looking out for their buyers and negotiating on their behalf? You bet. But they also bring wisdom and common sense and creative solutions for win-win transactions that close. If I'm a seller, I want a buyer who has a professional on their side. So if the amount of compensation to buyer's agents being offered is not allowed to be listed on the MLS, how will a buyer or a buyer agent know what's been negotiated between the listing agent and the seller, or what that broker or seller is willing to contribute? That's the part that we're all trying to figure out. The reason it was in there in the first place was for transparency. Now it's going to be an extra step before going to see each listing if the buyer wants to know up front, or it will be negotiated as an addendum to the purchase contract and made part of the offer. I know in the past for me, when I'm representing a buyer and the listing agent or a for sale by owner doesn't buffer in my commission, we usually offer a lower price than we would have otherwise to make up for that. The issue is that there's a large financial burden to the buyer because when it's buffered into the sales price, that essentially allows the buyer to finance their agent's commission over 30 years, whereas loan companies don't allow you to finance agent commissions outside of sales price currently. That's something that we could also start to see change. Sale prices will go down slightly, but buyers might be allowed to finance an additional amount to pay their agents. We shall see. I also still greatly suspect the real motivation of this change has to do with large companies who are pushing discounted listings. I haven't connected all the dots yet, but I'm super suspicious. More in my other video. So despite the headlines, this settlement isn't about cutting commissions or upending the industry. It's attempting to create more transparency and clarity, establishing client relationships and how agents are paid. I know I'm reiterating that a lot. A lot of this is semantics, and whether the egg is before the chicken or the chicken is before the egg, is the seller paying their agent and the buyer's paying theirs? Or is the buyer paying both since they're bringing the money? Or is the seller paying both since it comes out of the sale profits? I don't know. Agents aren't going to work for free. Sellers and buyers have always had the choice to represent themselves. What I'm hoping is that this won't put us back to the age where buyers weren't represented and felt forced into dual agency situations. If that's the case, I foresee some more lawsuits in the future on the buyer's behalf. Thanks for watching. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe for more updates and insights into the real estate world. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments below. What's your take on the recent settlement and its impact on the industry? And remember, whether you're exploring the market in Ohio or anywhere else, informed decisions and clear communication are your best tools. Until next time, take care and happy house hunting.